A trend that I've been noticing across my experience with sophomore and my current junior year experience is friend groups. And obviously, I've been realizing that, well, a lot of friend groups I've been going into beyond what I call my known groups, such as that one large girl group. Credit to you guys. I met like all the way at the beginning of sophomore year. But all the way to other home groups from that one group of whom a large group dispersed from at least long ago near that library, to other groups such as Jonah's group, credit to that one, and to other groups too that huddle up near and around like the lunch period. So credit to you guys. These are our home groups. We visit them before we know who they are. But beyond these groups, I've been finding pretty much a high amount of difficulty. Also beyond Rayon's group, by the way, even though they switched lunch periods for mentoring. And even though I've noticed this difficulty in period classes too, I'm seeing this like I've said before. And everybody has their own preconceived notions. Everyone too, me, you, and a lot of friend groups. And not because of a natural nature, but partially people don't have a say on what happens for 8 straight hours of a school day. So in some ways, I think that the reason this trend that I've been seeing is that in some ways this type of control is horrid, so to play. But I think it cuts deeper to how people operate within a place like this. Like, I know every group is different in terms of the social stuff, whether it's a hot soup that's overspilling or maybe it's just some rice that's just cooked. A lot of the groups are context locked, so unless the class is shared specifically, I mean, not many people have much on to act. So, I mean, there is an awkwardness that I would explain if one was to cold approach the group, even though it's word there. But it still doesn't explain fully why. And I know for others, I'm approaching the hardest to go groups at the end. Like, I agree. Like, even today. And while it's noble, I mean, I cannot fully complain that I'm not getting for a social experience. I mean, I cannot complain because we're taking it in hard mode. But most people stay low energy and stay within their groups and don't do much. But to throw it into the baseball metaphor, whenever we're visiting a group that we do not know, I'm always having runners on first base. I'm able to advance a conversation past the basic level and hit a basic run. But it's difficult to advance to second or third and move further than this level because every small and large group has their own shared dynamic, outfielders and infielders in this metaphor. So even if a minor slight gets misinterpreted, a group can still end up striking away base runners from the other team. That means even as a conversation advances, they can still choose to stop if they think something's happening. Like, no wonder I'm constantly getting like low PR rates despite good scores on the daily report. Like, I can still be the best pitcher, conversational pitcher, but still lose at the same time. And I'm beginning to realize is that even though I cannot complain, what I'm realizing is that beyond the metaphor, I think the approach that I'm using is like objective and linear. Like, you talk first in a conversation, it's basic. Second, you build it. Like, a conversation goes as basic then to middle and to a higher level. And I just realized that, well, not many people exactly run like this. Some want to remain minimal because, well, the school day is tiring, and I'd understand. And I realize it's not evil, but I think it's a protection of a comfort zone, so to speak. And I think the reason is that it was never any malice, but is that even though good intentions, we had things that we wanted to do. I think we're just unable to because of shared dynamics. And I want to think civilly too, because there is a little asymmetry between me and maybe a few others. Like, I am looking to make friends and talk to people, but like seriously. But while a few groups, though not all of them, usually they're hanging out. This becomes sort of a serious narrative displacement, especially in the morning right there. Because I know I cannot be complaining because, again, we're passing our home stadiums. We're already passing groups who we already know. And, like, I'm throwing fastballs and I can't expect a grand slam run to occur. Like, that's super obvious. But I agree, everybody's got to earn their own social position to some work, to some point. But going this hard against most people, at least with this mindset, and I know some others are trying to pass it, it's kind of exhausting. And, although it does reveal, like, a serious application here, and not every direction I would go to would have that much weight, there has to be some level of BR that I would argue, at least some way of reciprocation. And not to say that people who are serious are more superior than other people, but I think that this is a sort of energy displacement with the local environment in terms of a place with shifting ideals and growth paths. Like, I think it's a mismatch in expectations, even though it's evidence of one's nobility. But that would change expectations a little bit because, well, I shouldn't expect as much, but again, still show up and be willing to go up anyway. Because one day where someone translates these skills away from a baseball metaphor to their own, where they understand, I mean, it's a stepping stone for the tomorrow of tomorrow or the tomorrow of 16 years from now. Consequently, though, at least I've made thousands and thousands of observations, hyperbole here, in the last year from earlier sophomore year and before I switched math classes. And even though I grow a little bit cynical at times, like, I do realize that not all groups are like this. Obviously, again, there's always civility. But again, is that none of this was ever malice, but it does explain why I hear others in their high school experiences, like, they never really liked it either.